So the question, oh, sorry, go ahead. Oh, do you tend to invest anything equity related only in S&P 500?
Anything outside of the S&P 500.
Oh, do you invest anything equity related outside the S&P 500?
I personally do. Once again, I don't think any of you can beat the S&P 500 on a consistent basis. You can always point to very short-term gains that beat the S&P, but you can't look in the long term and say you consistently beat it every time. I wish you could, but I don't think you can, and that's not just my own opinion. But I think for diversity, you need to invest in bonds, you need to invest in real estate, and you need to keep some cash in the bank. So yes, the answer is yes.
Anybody else want to answer that? Yeah, David.
Well, yes and no. I invest in a variety of indexes. I mean, I think that the principle is right, but I want to have some foreign exposure. I want to have a few indices that measure different things anyway, but I'm not into individual stocks.
Okay. Yes, sir.
What's the best way to get our message to you? TV, print, internet? What's the best way to communicate to you?
Everybody got that? So if I want to get a message to you, how do I do it? Do I do it? I'm just going to give you a choice, and then I'll get a show of hands, and then we'll get a couple answers. TV, internet, print, mail. Okay, we'll use those four. Who would say TV? It's the best way to get a message. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who would say 6? Who would say internet? Best way to get a message. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What else did I say? Mail. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And print. Thanks. You've completely fragmented their entire media buy and made it impossible to get any message across.
I think the best message is when you sit down across the table from me and I can look in your eyes and see exactly who you are. That's the best message you can bring to me, and I think we need to get back to more of that personal one-on-one and forget these prospectuses and I would never trust an online investment, let alone a TV-based.
I mean, certainly, please don't send any more email. That's about the last medium I ever look at, but I think more than the medium, it's trying to represent yourself as to who you are that earns my trust back. I really want to know, who are you? You know, when somebody sits there and says, we'll partner with you, I want to know who I'm partnered with. And I think part of the problem in the recent years is, you know, the players have all changed. All of you either have been painted with the broad brush as being villainous and, you know, larcenous. So only people that I really feel comfortable with, like you say, that I can sit across the aisle, and I'm going to seek you out. Believe me, I'm not going to be, you know, responding to a coupon or anything like that.
I think the point that was made in our preliminary discussion by somebody was a great one when they said that the integrity and the fiduciary responsibility of the people to whom we give and trust our funds is the thing that needs to be won back. The gentleman earlier mentioned John Templeton, and people like that who have regard it as a moral responsibility to respect the fiduciary responsibility they have towards their clients.
Great. Kathy.
I have a question, kind of off the wall, but I presume all of you have like homeowners insurance and automobile insurance to protect you against catastrophic loss or acts of God, that you had at some time life insurance to protect your family for financial security. Do you wish you would have had some type of insurance to protect you against these financial losses in your portfolios?
How many of you would say yes? And how many of you would have been willing to pay something for that insurance? Okay, not bad. Other questions? How many own a variable annuity? 1, 2. How many of you know people who own variable annuities? 1, 2, 3, 4. So the rest of you don't own one, have never, don't know anybody. You own an immediate annuity. How many own other kinds of annuities other than variable annuities, including immediate annuities? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so more immediate than variable. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some folks in this industry that feel when you get to retirement, you start to focus less on increasing your assets, and you start to focus more or start drawing the money that you accumulated during your retirement years. Is that true for you?
Okay, so Patty.
It's not true for me, but it obviously depends on how much you're bringing in per month. If you have a retirement pension, or et cetera. If you're bringing in enough each month, then you don't really worry as much about the investments.
Well, let me ask you guys, the retiree group, at least this now, if you were being sold two products, and one of them talked about the monthly income that it would generate for you, and the other would talk about how it's going to help you grow your portfolio, which of them are you more interested in now? Who would say the income is more important? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and who would say the growth is more important? Okay, so we're split down the middle again. Thanks for the direction. Other questions? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have a question for Ann. You raved about your advisor communicating with you. Are there other things your advisor did for you during this period other than just communication that caused you to feel good about him?
Would you, yeah.
He adjusted my portfolio to be more conservative. He's just a very trustworthy person, always has been, and I just go along with what he says because, as I said before, he communicates every inch of the way, and I think that's really important. And from what I hear from the rest of my group here, that's not always the case. So I didn't realize how fortunate I was till today.
Yes, sir.
I think the question was just answered, but I'm just curious. How many of you work with an advisor that you truly trust, and how many of you are looking for a new advisor based on the information you've gotten recently?
How many of you work with an advisor that you truly trust? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So just about half. Now, how many of you are actively looking for a new advisor? 1, 2, 3, so 14. So there are 10 of you who don't trust your advisor but are sticking with him anyway. No, some of you don't. Some of you don't have one that you work with regularly.
You haven't asked us at any point.
Don't make me look bad. It's
no,
really
but,
close to the end of the session.
But there are some of us up here clearly who aren't just on the fence, but we don't rely on our advisors. They are somebody who executes things that
and why is that?
Conclude. Because, as someone else said, we have our own interests and trust our own instincts and sources of information.
And is that true more today than it was in the past, or has it always been that way for you?
Oh no, it's always been that way. That's just the way.
You've never trusted anyone.
No, it's no. It's we never have relied on someone else to make those decisions for us.
Okay, great, Roger.
Yes, coming back to that exact point as far as how to reach, at least me, and I perhaps as another, would be is what you have to say to the point and honest enough for me to not press the button that says 995 trades ING. That's all.
Okay, Tom.
My son is my advisor. I raised him well. I told him never take anything at face value. He has, other than about 3 years working at a firm here in Boston, not professionally trained, but I think he has my best interest at heart because he looks out for what we may pass on to him eventually. That's who I use, believe it or not. Sorry to, don't mean to insult anybody out there, but that's who my advisor is.